Hi, in this video you're going to see how to perform addition and subtraction operations using Turing machine. We know that Turing machine can compute whatever our computer can compute. Here we see few examples for it. So initially we'll see how to compute or perform addition and subtraction operations using Turing machines. So this is the function. The function takes two arguments, say m and n, and the output is nothing but the sum of these two numbers. Say for example, let the two arguments for the function addition functions be 3 comma 2. The output should be 3 plus 2. So this is okay. When we want to perform this operation in using computer, we have an operator say plus and we make use of it, and 3 and 2 will be passed as an argument, or we'll obtain the value from the user and it will be sent and the operator will be applied, which gives us the result. But here in Turing machine we have only two components. What are they? One is the finite control, which is nothing but the states, and another one is the input tape. So here in input tape we have to store the input upon which the Turing machine will operate. So whatever function we want to perform, first of all that input has to be represented or be stored in the tape. So here we store the input 3 plus 2. It may be of any size. For instance, here we have taken it as 3 and 2, right? So here I am representing 3 by 3 instance of 0. Similarly 2 by 2 instance of 0, right? We have to differentiate between two operands, say m and n. To separate these two arguments, we are placing a symbol 1. So keep it in mind, this is just a symbol. You can use either 1 for 1 power 3, 1 power 2, and 0 as the separator, or any other thing. Here, since I am going to simulate this as that of the computer, I am representing these operands in terms of binary values, right? So here 3 is represented by 3. So we know that in theory of computations, 0 power 3 represents the 3 concatenation. That's it. So 3 occurrences of 0. So it is equivalently represented in tape like this. And 1, which is the separator between these two operands. And double 0, the second operand. So now we have represented, we know what is addition. We have represented that input for the addition in the input tape for the Turing machine. Now we have to apply the operation for it. So when I add 3 plus 2, what is my answer? It is 5. So when I am representing 3 by 3 zeros and 2 by 2 zeros, then how will I be representing 5? 5 has to be represented by 5 zeros. So what do we infer from this? At the end of the addition operation, the Turing machine tape must consist of 5 zeros, right? But here already I have 5 zeros, but it is not in continuous manner. In between we have 1. So what a very simple task to have 5 zeros is, you can convert this 1 to 0. But what is the problem? When I convert this 1 to 0, I'll be getting one extra 0. So to tackle or to tally this extra 0, you can convert the last 0 to blank. That's it. Very simple algorithm. So the addition operation in Turing machine is, realization of addition operation in Turing machine is very easy. So you are representing operands by any symbol, that is occurrence of any symbol, and we have some other symbol which is different from the operand symbol as the separator. So here 3 occurrences of 0, 2 by 2 occurrences of 0, and 1 acts as the separator between those two operands, right? So here when I add 3 plus 2, the output should be 5. So when I am representing 3 by 3 zeros, then 5 must be represented by 5 zeros. And those 5 zeros must be in continuous manner. Already in the input tape itself I have 5 zeros. But what is the problem? I have 1 which acts as the separator between these two operands. So the only work that I have to do is that to move this. So instead of moving it, I am converting this 1 to 0 and the last 0 which is near to the blank to blank. That's it. This is the Turing machine. So the corresponding transition function I have written here. So it starts from the state Q. Q moves. My target is changing only 1 to 0. So whatever zeros or how many zeros I scan, just I'll be skipping towards right. Whenever I scan 1, that has to be converted to 0. Then again I have to move towards right. Why? Because next I have to convert the last 0 which is near to blank to last 0 which is near to blank to B, right? So the P, the state which I got after converting this 1 to 0, keep on skipping the zeros whatever number it scans, and finally when it scans because I do not know which 0 to scan, so I can identify the 0 to be converted by identifying the last blank. So the first target for me has to identify the last blank. So P state enters another state just to differentiate or for identification, right? So it enters a new state, say R. This R converts 0 to blank and enters a new. You may, if you want, you can move to a new state and say that is an accepting state, or you can have R is the accepting state itself. So that's it. Very simple addition operation. Okay. So these two problems are very important. So we don't have these basic operation. Usually they'll be keep on repeatedly asking this addition, subtraction and multiplications. Multiplication is little bit complex. We'll come to it later. Next we'll go ahead with subtraction operations. Subtraction operation, there is some problem with it. Why? So when I have two operands, say m and n, then the value of the operation or sign of the operation, sign of the result depends upon the value of m and n. If m is greater than n, then the output is positive. If m is less than n, then my output is negative. So here we are going to concentrate only on the condition where m is greater than n. We need not worry about all those m less than n. So one simple thing we can do is that when m is less than n, we can make everything in the input tab as blank. We'll come to that later. Now we'll see, we'll assume that always m is going to be greater than n, right? So here also we have two arguments, say m and n. So m output is going to be m minus n. So for example, when my operands are 5 comma 2, my output is going to be 5 minus 2. So as that of addition, here also we are going to represent it. Before that, we'll just recall the subtraction operation that we performed in our childhood. So 5, we used to represent that with 5 lines. Similarly, 2 with 2 lines, right? So what do we do in our lower classes? So we'll strike one line from the first operand and the corresponding another line in the second operand, and we'll keep on repeatedly striking out the lines in both the operands until we don't have line in any one of the operands, right? So first I'll strike the first line, then the corresponding in the second, similarly the second one, and the equivalent in the second operand. So I'll strike out the third value in the first operand, but I don't have the equivalent line in the second operand for the third value, right? So I'll stop with that. Whatever, I'll undo this, and the remaining, I'll count the number of remaining lines. It is 3, right? So my answer is 3. Okay, so the same logic we are going to make use of an Turing machine too. So first of all, you have to represent the input in the tape. So we are going to follow the same logic that we used for representing the input values for addition operation. So here we'll take m as 5 and n as 2. So m 5, so 5 zeros, and 1 again acts as the separator between these two operands, followed by 2 zeros, right? So one thing is that nothing is represented in Turing machine by blank symbol. So very simple logic is that I'll convert the first 0 to blank, go towards right, and whatever zeros that I scan after 1, it means we know that it belongs to second operand, right? So that I'll make it as blank. But there is a problem with it. Why? Here I don't have any problem. But here when I make this as blank, then sometimes I could not differentiate between this blank and the rightmost blank in the tape. So instead of converting this 0 to blank, we'll convert that to some other symbol, say X, right? So what you are going to do? You are going to convert the first 0 present in the first operand to blank, and we are going to move towards right. And after scanning 1, we understand that whatever symbol I scan, after 1 it belongs to the second operand. So we have decided that whenever I scan 0 in after 1, that has to be converted to x, like this. And this process will be repeated until I could not find any symbol to strike out in the second part. Yes, I'm very sure that I will not be finding any zeros in this second part, because here we are assuming that always m is going to be greater than n, right? So here this you can understand by yourself. A very easy one. We say that p is the starting state, and what is the starting state job? It has to convert the 0 that it scans to blank, right? So whenever I change the value of the symbol present in the tape, we are assuming that we are making transition, but it is not compulsory. So I'm moving to another state, say q from p. I'm changing 0 to b, and my target is now to move towards right and find an equivalent 0 on the right hand side. So Q keep on moving towards right. So whenever it scans 1, it is entering a new state, indicating that it is going to scan the symbol of the second input. So what is the target? Whenever after 1, if I scan 0, it has to be converted to x. So that is done here. Now S target is to come back again towards the left, towards here, that is near the blank, that is till the leftmost blank it traverses. Next it converts the 0 adjacent to that blank, and the process gets repeated. So this is shown here, and the processes keep on repeating. So at some point of time, so it will come back, it converts the 0 to blank, it goes back towards right, but it could not find any zeros to convert. So it means that all the zeros in the second operand are over. So it has to now come back and it has to do the undo operation, right? But here, instead of doing an undo operation, we have an 1, right? So after, at the end of the subtraction operation, I should have only 3 zeros in my input tape. But I have only 2 zeros here. So one way is that you can come back, convert this 1 to blank, and you can reconvert this blank to 0. And another one is that while coming back, this x should not be there. So all these x must be converted to blank. Then this one can be converted to 0. I have done that. Either it can convert this x to blank, this one also to blank, then move towards left, and then you convert this blank to 0, your wish. But what I have done here is that, so when I scan, when I could not find any zeros in the second operand, while I'll move towards left, while moving towards left, I'll convert this x to blank, similarly this x to blank, and this 1 to 0. So finally I'll be having like this. So this 1 to, this 1 has to be converted to 0. So this will be converted to, so this 1 will be converted to 0. So that finally I'll be having 3 zeros in my tape. And here, I've forgotten to indicate the starting state and the accepting state. So this is your starting state, and this is your accepting state. You can go through the transition functions by yourself. You can understand it easily. If you have any doubt on this, just text me. And one more important point that I want to say to you is that kindly do not memorize all these transition functions. Just take a input symbol and try to write by yourself, because in Turing machine, if you start memorizing the transition functions for every thing that we construct, then it is difficult for us to remember it. So thank you.